Okay, hello everybody, my name is Lindsay, or online known as Lyden, and I'm making this video because Aura tagged me. Apparently I have to say 5 things about myself. So, I've already said my name, so does that count? Probably not. So, let's see, thing number 1. I live in Northern Ireland. I had to think about that there, not a good sign. Which is well, I think everyone knows where Northern Ireland is. It's not really like Madeira, where Andrea's from. But I live in a town called Carrickfergus, and Carrick is beside the sea, and you've probably heard the song I Wish I Was in Carrickfergus, which is a famous Irish folk song, and that's contrary to some debate actually about the town that I live in, because we have a castle that lives, well, doesn't live, but well, I suppose technically it does, that looks out to the sea. What else can I say? Second thing about me, oh yes, I love to write poetry, which I'm not very good at, but I still do it anyway, because it's my creative outlet of my emotions. So usually ends up being quite emo. But still, I write it. And I write novels, fantasy novels specifically, YA, which is young adult, which is my favourite genre to read, because I think it's the most varying, interesting genre, and it has like, well, it includes like everything, horror and romance and fantasy and serious stuff and non-fiction, everything under the one banner of sort of aiming at people, you know, between, say, the ages of 14 and then the upper band, in fact probably up to people in their 20s, depending if they aren't too snobby, they might, or ages rather, they might like to read them because they're very, very enjoyable books. Let's see, third thing about me, I love cats, which is why I'm looking around my room, the living room here, because I was going to go and force Isis to come on screen so you can see my darling, darling, darling cat, Isis. I'll go get her one moment. Isis. Isis. Okay, I have to go upstairs. I have returned with the fluff. He's really angry with me. So this is Isis. Isn't she gorgeous? We called her Isis because, well, my sister thought it was a good name because I named her cat Hecate after the Greek goddess of the underworld. But Isis was named Isis because Victoria thought it was good. But I think it's particularly fitting because, you know, Isis is the Egyptian queen of the gods, and Isis has like a crown on her head, gold and black, but looks like a crown nonetheless. And also, if you know about Isis, people often talk about the wings of Isis, and this kitty has 2 little gold marks on her back, which to me kind of look like little budding wings. So very fitting and regal, and she's going to attack me, I think. Look at that. See? Look at the viciousness. Anyway, I'll let her go. Ah, she scratched my nose. But anyway, I think that was thing number 3, right? Thing number 4. What is in any way interesting about me? Stopped. Yes, I am going to hopefully be an English teacher, a high school English teacher. I adore English, and in my final year of an English degree, well, actually I've just completed it. I did my finals, they were all handed in last week, and I got accepted for a PGCE, which is a postgraduate certificate in education, and it takes a year, so next year I'll be qualifying to be a teacher. And I hope I make a good one, and I hope I can make school bearable for people that don't like it so much, because ironically I didn't like high school at all. It was miserable most of the time, and people usually say to me, why do you want to go back to, teach there? Because the only thing that made it at all bearable for me was the great teachers that I had, particularly English teachers throughout. Well, not always great. I mean, I had an absolutely awful one in lower sixth and upper sixth for my A-levels, but she never ruined my love for English, but she seemed to highlight to me the great importance of a teacher who's passionate and who is not going to play mind games with the students and stuff. So, although I am a Scorpio, so does that count as the fifth thing? Scorpio? Yes. There's 2 things. I'm going to be a Scorpio English teacher, which makes 5. But yes, anyway, I hope I make a good English teacher and make the subject bearable for students that are maybe not so happy at school. I hope they can come to me and I can help them with things, not just English, but just life in general. So my 5th thing was that I'm a Scorpio, but because I sort of worked that into the last thing somehow, I shall tell you a bit more about my astrological natal chart. For anyone who's watching this that is like an astro buff, you can see if your guesses were right. My sun sign is Scorpio. My rising sign, which is supposed to be how I project myself to the world around me, and also how I sort of show what my face is like as I'm growing up, how I act towards the world, is Pisces. My moon sign, which is my emotional inner sad self, is a Virgo and a total hypochondriac, so that's typical. My Venus is Scorpio, dun dun dun, and my Mars is Aquarius. What have I said? Pluto is Scorpio as well. Neptune is Capricorn. Mercury is Scorpio, so I communicate in a Scorpionic fashion apparently. So that's a lot of Scorpio in my chart. So if you guess Scorpio, that's good. And I think that brings this to an end, and I hope it wasn't too boring, and I probably talked too fast, because these things kind of make me a bit nervous, and I feel a bit silly, but I'm doing it anyway because I told Aura that I would. So, I'll leave this at 8 minutes and 15 seconds. I should probably cut it so you don't have to wait and watch that whole bit where I go up the stairs, but I'm not going to bother because I'm not really a video, editing genius or anything. So, ta-ta!